Hey, what's up, David? This is a quick demo video for you for your Master Sentinel with the brass hybrid fancy boy chassis. Hey, what's up, David? Let's go over your Master Sentinel V2 by Sabers. So when you had originally reached out to me and said that you had purchased one of these and you wanted me to do a metal chassis for it, I was very excited to do that because of reasons. But I got it all done for you. Thank you for being patient through the process. It takes a little bit to design them and then have the parts all printed out and then sent to me. Everything was right on the first try, so that's always a nice feeling when that happens. This does have a lot going on with it. First of all, you sent it over to Christopher Royal to get it powder coated, so he did a very nice job powder coating this. I don't have the handles in front of me, but as you know, he powder coated the alternate handles for you as well, so you could do some swap outs here. It does not affect the inner chassis or the function of the Saber at all. All right, so that's very cool what he did there. This is a 2-button setup. You'll find your switches, they are actually plunger switches underneath this plate. So your upper piece here will be power, your back will be auxiliary, that you'll see here in a second. All right, you've got some accent pieces here that I did light up separately. You can almost, if you look in there, you can see the accent pixels right behind those lenses. You're running a Carl Chen B4 blade connector, but you'll see that better here in a second as well. So to get to your chassis, you just want to unscrew your pommel. Chassis is a little tight, so what you want to do is put your finger through the emitter right here because it's pretty close. Find a place where you're not pressing on the actual pins and just kind of push your chassis forward, just like that, until you see it pop out about this far. I'm trying to do this in the camera. All right, and then you can just pull your chassis out. Do it nice and gently. Everything comes out. It's just a little bit of a tight fit, and this is what we've got. So you've got a removable 18650. Spring side is your negative. I'll just go ahead and throw a battery in there right now, but no wires in there, so everything is nice and clean. Goes in there nice and tough. You've got a couple brass accent bars that I put in here, so 2 over here and 2 over here. A little brass accent piece. You're running a 28mm Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker. Underneath this brass piece is some diffusion material. This doesn't come off, by the way, but there's a 15 pixel accent strip underneath that diffusion material. And when you flip it over, you've got the same thing over here. So 15 pixel accent strip with some diffusion material, so you don't see the actual LEDs. All right, an OLED screen right here that will fire up. It does say Sentinel in Arabesh right there with this brass accent piece. And it says Solo Sabers underneath this one. All right, moving up here, this is your board cover, but you can access your kill switch from here. Very easy to do.
I hate it here.
And you flip it off here. This has the Scrap Tech sound font on it from Keenan over at KSith. I know that you picked that up, so that's what I put on here. When you take this off, it has a little 4 accent strip on here to so you can get some extra shine through here. Also with a piece of diffusion on the back. All right, this is held in with 6 magnets. I did not E6000 the board yet because I figured you have been getting into Proffie lately. The previous sound fonts that you sent me were for CFX when we had planned on doing this with a CFX board. So I didn't put any E6000 on this so that you could pop this board up, do what you wanted to do, put it back down into place, and I would put a little bit of E6000 on the sides of the board. All right. And then that pops right into place like that. Coming over here, you have a crystal. This is a real quartz crystal. I chose to go with a thinner and longer crystal on this one just because I don't do it often and I sometimes get tired of using the same crystals that I always use. So I use this one. It has its own Neopixel accent right at the bottom. You'll never see that. All right, moving up, you have a spinning piece. So this spins when the Saber is on. And if you look in here, if you look carefully, you can just see it. If my camera will focus, it may not. There is a 16 pixel stock accent ring right at the base of that motor piece. All right, you've got your accent here and here for your windows. Of course, you've got your 2 switches there, and then that V4 blade connector we were talking about. All right, so that should be just about everything. If you come over here and you flip it on,
I hate it here.
you've got that particular boot up. There's a few, but we were lucky enough to get that one twice. But you've got my OLED animation for the initial boot up. You can see your kit scanner going for these LED strips here. These are on a slow pulse, and this one are wired together, so they mimic each other. You've got a slow turbine going on for that guy, and then you've got a pulse for your crystal as well. All right, when you turn the actual saber on, that's when you'll get K-Sith's boot up sound, or not boot up, but K-Sith's BMP file for the OLED screen. These go a little bit faster. Of course, you've got your spinning piece here. Your crystal goes solid, and I made this kind of match the speed of the motor. All right, and then these go solid to match the blade. Shine through here. Now, when putting this in, you need to pay attention because there is a groove right here. It stops right here, obviously, but it goes from here all the way through the crystal chamber and all the way through the emitter piece. It may be a little bit hard to see. You can almost make it out there. Yeah, you can see it there. On the bottom of the ID of the saber, you can see that little grub screw sticking up. And that is what clocks the chassis, and that's what has to ride into this channel here. All right, so when you're putting it in, kind of line up your tactile switches with your control box. We're gonna slide this in. Take your time, find that grub screw, and when you find it, you can push this all the way in. All right, don't ever push on the middle of your speaker. If you need to push it a little bit, you can use your pommel. We'll take our pommel, push it in, and screw it in. And when you screw your pommel all the way in, that helps lock that chassis down. Now the switches are aligned. You can actually see your accents here. I made sure you could see your crystal chamber from right here, and then you can see that blue from the stock ring. And then if you hit power, you can see it spin as well. And you can see that on both sides. All right, if I turn this light off here, maybe it'd be better. You can see it spinning in there. Smuggler's Outpost speaker sounds really good in this. All right. So we're going to put a blade in. This takes a 1-inch diameter Neopixel blade, and we're going to lock it down. And I will talk to you about these grub screws real quick. So you have 2 grub screws here. Basically, I did not use this one. So you don't have to use it. Just keep it backed out. It does touch the blade if you want, but right at the base. And I don't really see a reason why you need 2 grub screws holding the blade in. This one does plenty of work. So just lock this one down. Come over here and hit power. Of course, you got the blade style by Brian Connor. I did load that on here for you. Let's move this out of the way. Auxiliary. Blade lock up. You see that really well in your accents here. You've got twist off if you want to use twist off. Or you could just tap the power button. All right, and then play your soundtracks, a long press. Another long press to turn it off. Just like that. And we will break this back down. There is a copy of the config file on your SD card. Now, this is one of the more complex builds I've done in a while, just because it has 6 different blade styles per sound font. So what I've done on the config, you'll see it's very easy to read. You know, we're going to take the pommel off. We're going to come over here. Remember, don't push on the pins. Push on the side somewhere until that chassis pops out like that. And then you could just pull it out with your hand. All right, let's put this over here. Let's turn it on real quick. and then we'll kill it with the kill switch. All right, this can come off if you prefer to reach it like that, but I try to make sure that you can do everything from here. So on, right, off, and you're good to go. Battery comes right out like that. So what I was saying about the config file is that you will see that I have labeled each blade style. It'll say blade, or it will say two small accents, or it will say motor, or it will say crystal accent, or it will say stock ring, or it will say chassis LEDs. You'll see all that labeled so that you can go in there and very easily copy that and you know, add fonts that way, or make any changes that you want to make. All right, and then when we're done, you do want to be careful to find that grub screw. If you don't find it at the first time, back this up a little bit and try it again. You don't want to force it. It's a small guy, just like that. All right, so we'll push this in here and lock this down. Remember, don't push on your speaker. Use your pommel if you need to lock it down. All right. But that is basically your Master Sentinel. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll get this out in the mail to you tomorrow. Thanks, man.